And we're talking. I'm not even sure where he's at today. You're on vacation somewhere. Where are you at, Shawn?
We're in North Carolina.
North Carolina. Okay, we're
This
talking.
weekend, and here we are.
Okay, so we're talking to the new interim head football coach at Galesburg High School, Shawn Hickey. So, Shawn, congratulations.
Thank you. Appreciate
Yeah,
that, Dave.
yeah. So, how's it feel? I mean, that's the kind of the simple question, but how's it feel to be the new coach?
Well, for being out 12 years, it really seems like it was a long time ago that I was actually coaching. So overall, that feel is, interesting. It's new to me right now because, like I said, it's been a while. But, last week kind of hit the ground running with talking with coaches and trying to get some, underlying things established before we move forward, but really working on some foundation work.
Okay. What's the news broke on Friday, so it got out. So what's the reception been like from family, friends, people that have heard that you're the new coach?
Yeah, one of the things that I took into consideration about this position is that I've said before in other interviews that I really felt bad for the players and not having the direction that they needed during the summer. And so one of the ideas I thought of too was, you could bring in some people. I mean, do we know in the community, do we know Matt Hawkins? Yes, he's been coaching there. Do we know Jacob Carl? Yes, he's been coaching there. But one of the things that I've seen in relation to what the community has done and said is that, it's a name. I've been around for 25 years here coaching, teaching. I was born and raised in Galesburg. So if nothing else, at least the program is being given a name that the community recognizes. So I've seen positive feedback in that regard.
Okay. Kind of a big, broad question, but what's the current shape of Galesburg High School football?
Well, right now, the priority number one for us as a staff is to make sure that we are focusing on getting our numbers up. We've started on a recruiting plan this week. Basically, we're off this week. We don't have contact with the players. We gave them this week off with the holiday coming up, and so that's kind of our focus is going to is to be making contacts. We need to get our numbers up. That's top to bottom, so we're talking about really the 9th through 12th grade levels all need number improvements. So that's our goal this week is to really start discussing and hammering some kids to see if we can't get them out to play football this fall.
I know it's hard to tell. You said, with kids playing other sports and being summer, but what do the numbers look like?
Well, I haven't really seen, Coach Carl has shared with me the attendance. And we're using that to guide some of our recruiting that we're doing. But I don't have a good number for that, Jay. What I would say, and the number that I'm kind of basing it on right now is we're looking at about program-wide 50 to 60 kids. And I would like to, within this recruiting plan that I have, it's kind of outlined to be about 3 years to really get our numbers up to 120 to 150 in those 3 years.
And how do you go about the recruiting?
Well, right now it's just we have to get numbers and we have to start talking to the players. We are controlled legally from, and it makes sense that you don't want to have the kids are protected because they're minors. And so we use apps. And so one of the first things that we did when we left was to get the Remind app. And that Remind app is a place where all the players can go. And we have the ability there within that app to communicate with the players. For those who are not in the Remind app, what we have to do is we have to use the school Skyward accounts to first get in contact with the parents and then go from there. So that's what we have to do to try to reach the kids.
So it's not like you're coming in blind. I mean, you've been around the kids at school and you broadcast the games for the last 7 years. So you've been around it. So what's kind of your outlook? What's coming back this year?
What we have coming back in terms of the positions, we lost the quarterback position. We lost the running back position, so it's key thing offensively. We do return some guys in the linebacking core who were starting as sophomores last year and juniors, so we do have that group returning. But really, it's hard for me to piece together what we're going to look like because I haven't been with them yet. So I think that's a difficult thing to try to say what we have returning. Those are things that I do know in terms of, like you said, from broadcasting the games and doing things like that on the radio. There is an understanding there, but those seniors are now gone, and so we have to find out who's going to replace those areas.
Okay, this is Jay Redfern. I'm talking to Shawn Hickey, the new interim head football coach, who's coming to us he's on vacation this week in North Carolina. So kind of talk about what's on the calendar between now and I think the first day of practice is what, August 12th?
Yeah, we have, at least right now, we're working on the calendar itself. We have one that was in place for July. So when they come back next Monday, a week from today, we'll have an updated calendar for them because we do have some changes that I'm not going to spoil here for the players. But we do have some things coming up, and we're excited. We haven't finalized everything. That's something that I have on our agenda for our staff to work on this week while we are away, is to try to work on some team building activities. I got a couple of ideas that I pitched to our staff to try to improve that, and to have some ideas that we could use for that moving forward. And also an idea that I pitched toward Phil Reddington, the soccer coach. I have an idea of a team building type thing. So we'll see how that goes. But really, to get to your question, for the most part, one of the things that we need to do is to get to our players what the offensive playbook is going to look like, what the defensive playbook will look like. And then we get back, we need to start doing our install of that information. And so that way we'll be ready to go week 1.
So how's Galesburg football going to look different under Shawn Hickey?
I'm not promising any results. One of the things that is difficult coming this late in the season is, doing those X's and O's, doing the types of team building type things that might be in place if you're the seasoned coach who is your 3rd or 4th season, like Coach Blackwell would be bringing into this 4th season of his. But that was, that boat was tipped. And so now we need to start a new dynamic. I'm leaning heavily on Coach Hawkins, Coach Carl, because they're the two who really took the reins of the program in the absence of a head coach.
Okay. What's kind of your philosophy, not to give your playbook away or talk, real serious X's and O's, but what's kind of your philosophy as far as both sides of the ball?
Well, there's been such a push offensively to go toward a spread offense, shotgun. That's what we've been working on. We've already had 1 7-on-7 last week. The guys went up to Rock Island and did a 7-on-7 there. So we're working the passing game already. The running game, we haven't spent a ton of time on it yet because we were focused on getting ready. I can't say me, it was the coaches who were there. They were focused on getting ready for the 7-on-7, which is a pass focus. So right now we have not installed much of our run game. So what will that look like? I think we have some good guys that are back there. We have Jamar Range, who's going to be back there. We have Nico Ojeda, who's going to be back there, and a couple of younger guys will be back there too. So we have some good depths in the running back area that we can establish that running game to complement the passing game. Defensively, we're going to decide kind of what I would say we hang our hat on defensively. We've been working on this offseason of a multi-defense, which was looking at 3 different types of defenses. And one of those in particular had different reads for the linebackers. And, when I came in, I looked at that. I said, we're talking about high school kids to say, hey, if I'm running this defense, this is my read. And if I'm running this defense, I now have a different read. Mm-hmm. And we really need to streamline that better. And that's something that we're working on during this break as well, to come back with the players next week of a defense that we will hang our hat on.
Okay. You've kind of mentioned several times Coach Hawkins and Coach Carl. What's your staff going to look like this year?
It's the same as last year. I think I've come in late enough into the game where I don't have any leverage to say, we don't want to keep you around, which I don't want to. I mean, I like the group that we have there. It's a young staff, and there are no openings. So I'm coming into just an interim, as we know.
Yeah.
One body was moved out and one's moved in, and the staff is the same. And so we are looking at how to best utilize the staff that we have and where they're going to be most needed within the program.
Okay. What are you most looking forward to as being the head coach?
You know what? It's the same as teaching, Jay. Really, it is. For me, I often tell my students in class that when you guys grow up and you get older and you have an occupation, I hope you have a job that when you wake up, you don't wake up being upset with having to go to work. That your occupation is something that you love. And I love teaching and working with kids on a daily basis. And so that's something I want to take with me into the program, is that these are the same kids that I get up every day for in the classroom. Now I just get to spend more time with them after school on a football field. So that's kind of the basis for kind of a philosophy too, is that kids need to know that we care about them. And this environment is going to be an environment that's going to thrive because those kids are going to enjoy the people that they're around. They're going to enjoy the coaches. And that's really the basis, Jay, for how I want to improve our numbers in the program.
we kind of talked about this the other day, but, you were a multi-sport athlete. Where did, kind of talk about your love for football and how that all kind of developed?
And it's interesting that you bring that up, because when I went to college, I played baseball in college. I did play football in college. But when I came back to teaching at Galesburg, there were positions open for football and baseball. And I knew I wanted to do the coaching part of it. But I was using the football actually as a leverage to help me out to get into the baseball program. And as it turned out, after a few years, I really enjoyed coaching football. The fact that you have 11 guys playing, and if one of those guys misses an assignment, it can really throw off the whole play. If you think about baseball, you say, yeah, you've got 9 guys out there, but a ground ball to the shortstop thrown across to the first baseman, a 6-3 recorded in the book, the center fielder is not doing too much. Like, the role of the center fielder in that play does not dictate the outcome of that play. But conversely, in football, if you're on defense and your free safety or an inside linebacker decides to take a play off or gets blocked using techniques they're not supposed to, that can result in a long run or a touchdown pass or whatever it might be that could shoot or sway the whole game itself. So football itself has so many working parts, and everybody has to be working together on every single play in order for it to be successful. And that, to me, is the challenge that comes from football. And then you get to the other parts of it where, okay, the other team now sees what you're doing, and now they're making changes. And as they make changes, we have to make changes as well. So it's a constant ongoing battle. Really, the comparison for me is just the battle that goes on between the pitcher and the batter every pitch. And so, like, that part of the game is happening all the time in football, but it requires 22 people, 22 working parts on either side of the ball to be working there. Where baseball, it might just be a couple of them. So that's in comparison why I enjoy football more than baseball.
Just from my personal observation, you seem really excited and ready to go.
Oh yeah, I'm super excited. I talked with you about the prospect of this Zoom call because it's raining here, and so we can't get out to do much. I mean, it's raining pretty hard, and so I've been in contact already with coaches. We got ideas going, the things that we need to do. I created a short list of most pressing items before we left for this week, so we can start addressing those types of things, and then a list of what we need to work on. So we're all collectively working on things during this week off.
Okay, that's Shawn Hickey, the new interim head football coach at Galesburg High School. Shawn, thanks for joining me. I look forward to working with you this season, and have a good rest of your vacation.
Jay, I appreciate it a lot. Thanks a lot. Go Streaks.
Okay, thank you.